How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy King Calf, and I apologize. I truly apologize for being gone for so long, but I was in the middle of a move. As you can see, I'm in a brand new space. I got my Dragon Ball figures behind me because that's like the most important part, but this is my office. I'm definitely going to be changing it up a lot. You're going to see changes every episode, most likely. And if you guys have any suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to make the place more appealing for your eyes, just as much as you like to see me. I want you to be able to see my background and enjoy it. So definitely leave any suggestions below. I would love to hear what you guys think. And also, I really appreciate all the conversations and all the interactions in my last video for Rebirth. That's my highest rated video, and I just want to thank everybody who participated and who subscribed. I really appreciate all of that. So thank you so much, and we got a lot more content coming out, especially now that I'm in my own space. It's gonna be great. And with that being said, if you haven't, consider subscribing to the channel. We got a lot more content coming. Leave a like, leave a comment, whatever you guys want to do, or just come watch me with your own enjoyment. Doesn't matter to me. Just appreciate you guys being here. And we have another game review. This time we're going to be reviewing Stellar Blade. This game, I had just beaten it the other day. Took me a lot longer than I thought it would, just because I've been, so busy with the move. But I'm pleasantly surprised with this game, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it. I know the review came a little late, but better late than never, right? So let's get into it. So Stellar Blade is the newest PlayStation exclusive. It's from a brand new studio, Shift Up, Korean studio. I think the Korean studios have been killing it with this and Liza P over the last couple of years. Liza P was definitely one of my favorite games in 2023. It was in my top 10. And this game is no different. Different studio, but kind of similar style, following the Souls formula, but also adding some Sekiro with the deflection being a really big major part of the gameplay. But yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with this game. I was actually excited when it was first announced back in 2020 when they were unveiling the PlayStation 5 for the first time. Game definitely took my attention when it was under the name Project Eve, and I've followed it closely as much as possible because the game did go silent for a couple of years, but here we are in 2024, and yeah, this game was actually better than I thought. It definitely exceeded my expectations in almost everything. So yeah, I think the wait was definitely worth it, but let's get into the pros and the cons of this game. Okay, so before we get into the pros and cons, I just want to say this because this game has just been surrounded with so much controversy and so much bullshit. And I'm going to say this wholeheartedly, with all due respect. For the people that are mad that this game stars an attractive woman that has tits and ass, I'm just going to say this, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. It's a video game. People don't bat an eye when we have ripped guys in Final Fantasy. So why is, because there's a woman now, people need to make a big stink? I just think the controversy for this game is in a way ruining the actual game, because what we have here is an actual good product, but it's just not talked about as much as the controversy of the main character. And if a main fake character is ruining your day-to-day life because they're attractive, then maybe you need to go get a new hobby, or maybe you need to seek help, because the issues that people are having with this game is just so ridiculous that the only thing I can say is just shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna leave it there, but yeah, you guys know how I feel. I don't think there's a problem having attractive people in video games, movies, etc., any forms of media. That's just how it is. If you're losing sleep over it, then freaking call help, because you need it, obviously. So now that that's done, all right, Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is a action RPG game, very similar to your Souls-like games, but also has a love child with Bayonetta, Sekiro, and I think what we got is a really unique product that is familiar, but also does some things different. Has some exploration as well, but we're gonna get all into that in the gameplay. For now, I want to focus on the story, which unfortunately I do think is the weakest aspect of this game. I definitely think the story was very mediocre. The characters were mediocre. I did like Eve, but I do think her performance was very wooden. I don't think that's the actress's fault because she does have a great voice, but I just think that, they're trying to play into the whole humanity thing and what makes someone human a little too much, to the point where Eve sometimes comes across as very wooden. Um, she does have some good moments to express her feelings, and to express the good acting from the actual voice actor. But I just think overall, the characters and the interactions that were in this game were very, very mid. And I just think the plot, although it starts off very slow, it does pick up in the last 5 hours, which I do think is the best part of the game. But for the most part, like during side quests, even during some of the main cutscenes, I was not paying attention. And even during the side quests, I was just mashing the X button trying to get through the dialogue just because I didn't care, you know? And it sucks because lately I've been playing such, story-driven games like Rebirth or Persona 3 Reload, and when you go to these games that have a really, really well thought out story, and then you go into Stellar Blade, it's a little jarring, but I do enjoy that it's a much shorter game because I was getting a little burnt out, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I think if you're going into this game hoping that you're gonna get some epic space opera, post-apocalyptic, like cool story, you're not gonna find it here. It's not terrible. I don't think the story is absolutely terrible, but you're not getting anything special here. And I think that the story is going to be the most forgettable part of this game. They do open the doors for sequels, but hey, maybe we'll get a better story in the sequel that will actually flesh out the world and the characters a lot more. But we'll see. But I think the main drawing factor of this game is definitely the gameplay, and this is where this game just absolutely shines. The gameplay in this game is phenomenal, and it's kind of weird. So we had a demo that came out that gave us the first portion of the first level as well as the intro. It definitely showcased the combat and the capabilities of what your character can do, which I think was really good. It gave people a good feel of the game, and I think that's what really did help the game, gain a lot more momentum prior to release. Well, that and the assets, let's say. But I think that the gameplay, at first when you play it, the deflecting seems a little odd. It seems like there's a little of a time delay, but it's also very generous. The dodging seems like it's a little iffy, like you're dodging, but then like the invincibility frames aren't there, and getting a perfect dodge is a little difficult. But as you play the game, as you start to learn the fluidity of the combat, it just clicks. And once this game clicks, it is some of the most fun combat that you'll have in a while. I mean, I was addicted to encounters, just deflecting, getting the finishing blows, or doing like hardcore hits on bosses. I really did like that gameplay loop, especially in the open-ended levels, because later on in the game there are going to be some open-ended levels that have multiple paths and side quests and a bunch of things, and just seeing the enemies in the open and fighting them was really enjoyable. I think it was a pretty good, enjoyable exploration world where you can get into some natural combat encounters. And yeah, this combat, just once you start getting the abilities and you start, filling out your skill tree, there are some stupid ones like making dodging easier, making deflecting easier, things that I think your character should have just had right from the start. But I digress. It does help the game, and once you get other abilities like being able to use your beta skills, which are your special abilities, and then later your burst skills, and then your Taki abilities, all of that just gives you so much versatility in what you can do in combat, and it makes the game just very, very fun, just because it's not stale at that point. You do have different methods to deal with different enemies, and some enemies are weak to some attacks, and I just think that the combat as you play it, it just gets extremely, extremely good. And I didn't find it getting repetitive even when I was at the last boss. I think that the combat held my attention for the 36 hours it took me to beat this game. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier than Dark Souls or your Elden Ring or your Bloodborne or even Sekiro. It's definitely much easier, but I think it strikes a good difficulty for newcomers. And if you're trying to get into this genre of game, it's a great entry point. not only for the accessibility and the generosity in some of the deflecting and dodging, but also just the exploration. It gives you that light exploration in the game, which I think is a great aspect of it. And the boss fights are really, really something, especially later on in the game. So at the beginning, you're just fighting some souped up enemies that do become regular enemies later on. But as the game goes on, you get into some really cool encounters with some bosses. The humanoid enemies definitely have the best boss fights just because you feel like you're on equal levels with them. There's a couple of boss fights that kick the shit out of me, I'm not gonna lie, especially near the end. And when I go back to the end, the last like 4 or 5 hours of this game literally is a boss rush. It's just like boss, walking a little bit, boss, and then the end, you know? And it's a really cool section because that's when your character is almost maxed out, and that's when you're really engaging in the combat and doing all these things and have mastered those perfect dodges and how to counter and master when to use your beta and your burst skills and when to deflect and how to read enemy patterns, and that's when the game was at its strongest. And the good part about that is that there is a new game plus mode, and that skill that you learn from that last 5 hours, bringing it into hard mode on a new game plus, it made the game more fun, in my opinion. I just think that the boss fights in this game definitely knocked it out of the park, and I hope that they can only go up from here because the blueprint's there for some epic boss fights, especially at the killing blow scenes when there's like a QTE and you have to do some cool shit. Always really fun and enjoyable to watch. But yeah, these boss fights, I'm really hoping that if we do get a sequel, they take it up a notch because what they have here, solid first try. And you know, on top of that, we're going to be doing some light platforming. Again, I think this is one of the weaker parts of the game, just because Eve feels very floaty when she jumps, but also very stiff. But then when you land, there's like this like little slide animation that she does, which sometimes can kind of knock you off balance. I definitely also found the depth perception of when you're doing jumps is a little rough sometimes, especially when you're trying to land on more narrow platforms. Definitely something that you can get used to. I did feel that near the end of the game, I was doing jumps and doing platforming very simple, and was able to be creative of when to do dashes and double jumps and stuff to clear gaps that you otherwise couldn't. But I definitely think this is something that they can improve in the next game, because I do think that the platforming was a good idea. It does break up some of the combat encounters and the exploration, just, you know, cleanses that palette. But it can definitely be improved on, and I think that Shift Up does know that it was one of the weaker aspects, and I'm just hoping that they put more resources into that in the future sequels. And yo, one of my favorite things in this game is costume collecting. So I actually do not usually give a shit about collecting new costumes, but with this game they made it really fun. I mean, finding that little tiny red box and opening it and not seeing the costume right away, you have to go to a camp, you have to craft the costume, and then you can see it, is a really cool gameplay loop that builds anticipation for like, yo, what did I get? What costume is this? And I know what y'all are thinking, like, the costumes, I know you guys picked certain costumes and did that ladder animation, like, don't lie to my face, I know you did, but that's not why I'm talking about it. I just think it was a really cool collectible in the game, and, you know, I think Shift Up said they're going to be releasing future ones for free, which is always nice. No microtransactions with costumes. Love to see it. The dead art's up nowadays, but Shift Up, they're doing it. Thank you. I know some of y'all were complaining that there was like censorship on some of the costumes. I mean, who cares? Like, sure, we were misled that the game wouldn't be censored, but it is what it is. It's not a big deal. Like, guys, like we're here to play a game. Like, chill out. And I just know that if this game comes to PC, y'all are gonna go wild with the mods. I don't even know if I want to see it, for better or for worse. But what we have here is a great package, great gameplay, mid-story. But what my favorite thing is that this is a brand new IP, and nowadays the gaming industry, the movie industry, all of it is so stuck doing sequels or remakes. We don't get new things anymore, new risky projects. And although this game isn't risky because they are following a pretty safe template that's trending right now, people do love the Souls combat, but it's a brand new IP. They tried something new, and it's good to see that it's doing well. They haven't released sales as of the recording of this video, but this game is very popular, and I think that it's going to sell pretty well, especially over the long run. And I think that we should get sequels because there's just so much that they can do and so much that they tease at the end of this game that they would be foolish to not do a sequel and have more costumes, have more characters, have more weapons. Like there's so much you can do with this IP, and I just hope that Shift Up takes the position that they're in because they're in a really good position and they capitalize on it and give the gamers something that's great, but also push their name out there so they can become a more renowned developer. So I think that they're in a perfect position for a brand new IP, especially for a studio that this is their first AAA game. They usually only did mobile games, so I think that they're in a great position, and I'm excited to see what else they do. But that's gonna do it, guys. I mean, overall, this game is great. Definitely one of my favorite games of the year. As of now, I could for sure see it making in the top 5, top 6 of my top games this year. I mean, we don't really have much, but so far this game is definitely on that list, and I'm gonna remember it. It's one of those games that, I'm gonna replay. I don't really replay a lot of games, but the New Game Plus, you get new abilities in New Game Plus, like you get upgraded versions of your moves. You get the Raven outfit, which is probably the sickest outfit in the game. And we got a great product here. So hopefully they'll do some DLC. I hope they do. But yeah, so far, highly, highly recommend this game. If you have a PlayStation, of course, it's a no-brainer. If it comes to PC, definitely recommend it coming into PC. And I definitely recommend that if it does, you pick it up as well. That's going to do it here, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for waiting for this video. I know it took so long. Again, I was moving. I'm excited to change this office space. I'm excited to get some more content out for all y'all. And, hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you tried Stellar Blade. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you pissed about the whole censorship thing? Are you drooling over the costumes already? Let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to see what y'all think about this. And the next game we're going to be doing, I'll give you guys a spoiler, we're going to be doing Hellblade 2 because I heard it sucks. And I can't only do good games. I also have to do games that suck. I haven't tried it yet, but let's do it, guys. Let's do it. So until then, I will catch y'all in the next video. I'm hoping to get a video out pretty shortly, especially because this game is apparently like 5 hours. So hopefully it'll be out soon. But thank you again. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.